Water? Can I get the water? Buddy! Just caught it, baby. What's up, guys? Your boy Connor. Today we're going to be talking about tires. That was weird. So today we're going to be talking about the Metzeler ME888 Ultra Marathon tires. We have the white walls. Duh, Connor. Now this video is simple, straightforward, not much to talk about tires. What we're going to be doing is comparing them with our experience that we've had with the stock Michelins that come on most Harleys, as well as to the Dunlop 401s that we've ran, as well as the K591 from Dunlop that we have run, and then the Shinko that we have on the Sporty. Each tire is going to be different for each person depending on what you ride on. If you do a lot of highway riding, you know, cruising out, there's nothing wrong with any style riding, but if you just like to cruise highways, commute a lot to work, you're going to want to get a harder compound tire or a dual compound tire. Connor, what's dual compound? Well, dual compound is that the center of the tire, down the middle, is going to be your harder compound for your more wear and tear that it's going to be seeing on the longer commutes, the higher miles when you're riding. And with the second portion of that dual compound tire, you're going to have the softer compound on the exterior, on the outer portion of your tire, the meat and potatoes, what makes contact with the road when you're in a turn. That way you have the confidence, the security, the traction to stick inside that turn without it sliding a little bit. Now, are there benefits from one tire over another? Again, that's going to tie into what style of riding that you do. If you like to do wheelies, etc., you're going to want a softer compound tire just because it's going to help grip. Now, there's people who can wheelie pretty much just about anything, and they can have a hard compound tire, pop that hoe up. They don't really need it because they have their weight transfer, etc., and they just know how to do it. They're just skilled. It's there. They can wheelie pretty much anything, whatever it is. The other thing is if you pretty much just only ride highway, if you like higher mileage tires because you don't like to change them out so much, whether it be your financial situation or you just don't like doing it, you just like to have a set of tires on there, good and go, pretty much just anytime you want, then you're going to want to go with the harder compound because, again, it's going to last you a long time. Now, there's benefits of both. With my style of riding, I do prefer the dual compound or the softer compound because we ran the Michelin Scorchers. They're not bad, they're good. I mean, they're on the stock Harleys, they work, they get the job done, they help you get you out on the road. Now, if you start crushing a little twisties, some of the canyons, and you start getting some higher speeds and your body lean angle starts changing, you may start noticing that the rear end of your bike starts to walk its way out from what your line is, and that can get a little sketchy. But don't panic. Sometimes there was a time where we were running the 401s and we took a couple turns a little quicker and the rear end walked out a little bit. In my head, I was like, oh, that's bad. But we stayed in it. We should just hope that it didn't continue to walk out, slide, and walk it out, walk it out. Sure enough, that was good. We liked it. It was a high mileage tire. It had white walls. That's the reason why we went with the 401. It was super sick. Loved it. Love the white walls. Obviously, it's on the SOFTAIL, which I may have to add real quick, if I may interject. It really brings the whole look of the bike together. Along with the chrome, the Lindell Brakes rotor, whoo, we looking good. So after that, we ended up trying the K591 because I had a few people reach out to me and said, hey, the 591 is a softer compound. It's a lot grippier. You may find that, you might find it enjoyable because we expressed our like, oh, we slid out the rear, whoopsies. And people messaged, so I was like, why not? Let's try it out. We went ahead and did it and immediately fell in love with the 591s because their performance in the wet conditions was more optimal than what the 401s were, again, in my experience. Some people may hate the 591s, etc., and all the tires, whatever you suggest, they may have bad experiences. So we really loved the 591s, but the major downside to that was about 8,000 miles in, we saw that we were in need of a new rear tire just because it was the middle of summer. I believe that's what we did the Iron Butt Challenge with, was the 591s, and it was brutal. It went pretty quick. I think in 2 months, it was just like, oh, dude, we already got to pay again. And it also is going to depend on what your situation is, touching base again on that, on what your setup is. What tire may be better for you is going to go ahead and go to what your setup is, where the softer compound tires, they run out a whole lot quicker, where if you're doing a lot of miles, you like to ride, see a lot of countrysides, twisties, whatever, that your rear tire wears out a whole lot quicker. If you're going to Harley-Davidson to get your tires mounted and balanced, it's going to get expensive because I know a lot of them like to charge from $300 to $400 for the rear tire alone. Not for the tire to purchase the rubber itself, but to mount and balance the tire that you purchased on top of that. So you're looking probably $500 to mount a rear tire with the tire purchase. That gets to be crazy expensive. You're going to want to do that maybe once a year. So you're going to go with the harder compound tires. You're like, nah, dude, sorry, Harley, I'm good. Now, There's other options out there. I know Cycle Gear, if you buy from them, you order the tire from them, they'll do the free mount and balance. They won't put it back on your bike. With that is, say you go to Cycle Gear, hey, cool, I want to buy a tire, cool, here's the wheel. They mount and balance the tire on the wheel, and then they say, hey, here's your whole setup back. And you come home, you put the tire or the wheel back on your bike, do everything, and go from there. That can be a little bit more cost effective. Even if, say, I buy this tire from Joe Schmo here, and then I take it to Cycle Gear, they'll charge you $50 to do it, and you just come home and you put it back on your bike. That's going to save you some money if you do it that route, whether you order it straight from Cycle Gear, or if you take it to Cycle Gear for them to mount and balance your tire, and then you go ahead and put it back on. That's one other option. So that way you can run a software compound and go through as many tires as you want all day, and you will only be out of $50 a month, more or less, on top of the cost of the tire. So there's also the option of you investing in a tire machine. You don't have to go with the full hydraulic system with the compressor, bro, although that would be ideal. That would be wicked. I'd be going through so many tires if I had that set up. You can also go to Harbor Freight and some of these other shops where they have the kind of the manual spoons, and they have the overall, whatever, the beam, or whatever you can do it, whatever you call it. And you can go ahead and do that to where all you do is you just buy the tire, go home, take off your wheel, take off the old tire, put the new tire on your wheel, throw it on there, then all you're out is pretty much the cost of that, of the spoons, of the setup, and then of the tire itself. That's gonna save you a little bit more money. Coming back to these, we were a little long-winded there, but thank you for staying with us. So the Metzeler ME888 Ultra Marathons, they're specifically designed, according to Metzeler, the ME888s are specifically designed to provide you with that high mileage, but with ultra performance in wet conditions. I can attest to that. Now, we weren't going crazy, you know, Rossi speeds in the corner, Circuit of the Americas, MotoGP, crushing it, but the other day we were filming the first MFG rain gear video, and of course we wanted to get some footage of us riding in the rain. So we're going, and at first it was, hey, where's the rain? Trying to find it, light drizzle, and then we really got dumped on. The roads were wet, they were super slick, and that's one of the most important times to be wary of your surroundings, of the roads, because the first 30 minutes of rainfall is when everything on the surface of the asphalt, the road, whatever, gets lifted and starts kind of going its all respective way. But that's when the roads tend to be the slickest in whichever part that you're at. So just be mindful of that, but they handle fairly well. I am happy with them, as well as the life of the performance of the tire. This one is a new tire because we got that nail in it, so this one only has a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 miles to it. The rear, I believe we're at 4,000 miles, give or take a couple hundred, but it's holding up extremely well. The fact that we've done 2 burnouts with it, now they're not long burnouts, they're about 10-15 seconds a piece, is just enough to kind of cake that top layer, but it's still got plenty of tread left, and we're locking up the rear any chance we get. With not having ABS on this bike, we decided to do it a little bit different than the Dyna. The Dyna, we want ABS because it was our first bike. We were unsure on how we were going to be handling it, so we wanted to be extra careful with it. And we started trying to lock up the rear brake, trying to do burnouts, but we couldn't because of the ABS. But we would have to unplug the ABS fuse, do all that, but then we had to re-plug it in, so I couldn't lock up the rear unless I was, oh, hey, I'm going to go for a quick ride to lock up the rear. So with this, the old Lola, old Ron Burgundy, we're locking that hoe up every chance we get. And although we should try and save the tire for Born Free because we're ripping out to California again. What? Born Free, holler at me if you're going to be out there. But it's holding up very well. So it has lots of grip, etc. As for the tread, it's very interesting. I know with a lot of the Dunlop pads, that center seam down the line, that can prove troublesome, or just a little kind of, ooh, what's going on? When you hit those construction zones and you see those grooves in the road, that it wants to track with them, so your front end gets a little, it's not squirrely, but you tend to feel the grooves. With this one, it has no center stripe, but it does have transversal grip, transversal tread pattern, to where it almost forms a channel down the center, but it's not going to track those together. I feel it does well to flick the rain off the tire, keep you grounded to the asphalt, the road. But the white walls, I love them. Now, a quick disclaimer, one of the reasons that we went with the Metzeler's ME888 was the tire selection for the lowrider. Now, what Harley did with the Softail is they went with a wider tire, but with a shorter wheel. I'm not sure why, I don't know. I really like the 17s because the tire options were left and right. You could do a bunch of wheels, and so tons to choose from. And then we got this, we didn't do the research as to tire, we just said, oh, we'll cross that bridge when we get to them. I'll just run the 591s or the 401s whenever we get to that bridge. Sure enough, we're over here doing burnouts left and right, like, we should start looking at tires. And there's almost nothing. We were like, oh, bro, what? All the ones that we wanted didn't have. We tried looking for the Pirelli Angel GTs. No, a lot of them only make to a 17-inch wheel. Oh, bro. So then we had to start doing our homework, kind of start searching the web as to what people are running that are other tires, because there's the Michelin. Michelin has the stock Scorcher that came on it, and I believe one other tire. And Metzeler had the 880 and the 888. Awesome. But the only person I knew that ran the Metzelers was Chase. He liked them. He told me to get them a while back. But it's one of those things where you don't see that many people run them. People were either running Dunlops, especially here in Texas. A lot of them run Dunlops or Shinkos. California, I know a lot of y'all like your all Shinkos. And so it's like, dude, where do I go? I have nowhere to go. I have nothing to choose from. This is just like option A or option B. And so we said, you know what, let's go ahead and do our research. We dove deep into Instagram hashtags, just Metzelers, ME888, ME888, whatever, and into the ME880, and we were just all over the place. And most of them were on your metric bikes, on kind of your cruisers, your European Triumphs, etc. And then as we kind of started, like, oh, bro, what did I get myself into? We're going to have to buy a new wheel, go to a 17 so we can run what we're used to. Then I started seeing some of the photos of a couple of the guys that they were in the twisties on a Harley on a Metzeler tire. So awesome. Okay, cool. That started building my confidence up. Then we started really diving in. And we're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. They have a white wall tire. Let's bite the bullet. Worst case, if we don't like it, we'll just switch back to stock, I guess. And then buy a new wheel so we can run the tried and true of what we know. But to my surprise, I was blown away. Not initially. The moment of truth was when we were at Cars and Coffee, had just gotten these thrown on, was going to flex a little bit, like, yo, what's up? We got inside the car show. We're like, oh, what's up, dude? I want to show off my white walls. Let people go, damn. No one did. And so we're there, everyone's leaving. One of the buddies, Mark, tried to do a burnout, so like, oh, let's join him. So we try it. It gripped to where the front wouldn't lock. And it was like, scoot me along. I was like, okay, cool. So then we finally broke it loose. You know, it got a good little spin and then stopped, whatever. But that was kind of the first, like, okay, so it grips. It's got good grip, that it's not letting me do a burnout. Awesome. And it was fresh. Like, it was cold. So we had just gotten it, let my bike run for a little bit, then tried the burnout, done and done, didn't do it, so I liked it. We're still able to break it loose every so often. That the grip is nice to where it is a softer compound tire. It gives you the confidence in turns. I have yet to feel the rear end walk out. We hit Lime Creek on several occasions. We've done Cielo Vista. We also did 1431 multiple occasions. And so I'm confident with these tires that they're going to perform when I need them to, as well as in wet conditions. The price point is fair. I want to say you're about $200 for the tire, $230, $250 for the rear, more or less. Shop around. But they're not going to break the bank, but they're not your cheapest tire. But I am happy with them. Now, we do want to try some other tires, but again, we don't have many options. That's going to do it for the video. Be sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what y'all think of this video. What tires are you running? Do you love a certain tire, or do you highly dislike another tire, and why? Did you like it in dry conditions, but all of a sudden it comes to rain and you're just all over the place?